Good morning, YouTubers. Thank you very much for joining me today. Today is Sunday, September 18th, 2022. Yeah, Taiwan is still rocking and rolling, and many people are wondering about these earthquakes, if they're man-made. Yeah, you just don't know. They do have the technology to do that. The largest earthquake so far within the last 24 hours was a magnitude 7.2 that USGS downgraded it to a 6.9. Here's the current view of the stream view. Yeah, lots of small earthquakes. For some reason, this monitor wasn't working properly prior to all these earthquakes. Here's an example. This is Saturday, and it's 12 o'clock here Universal Time. And let me go forward another 4 hours. Yeah, and all of a sudden, bam. Yeah, all the earthquakes. Yeah. See where they changed it? Yeah, they probably needed to adjust the monitor. And we'll just go ahead in about 4 hours. Let's see here. Alright, and I'll pull it over. And we'll go ahead another 4 hours. This is just one little section of that 4 hours, and then another 4 hours. Yeah, see right here? Yeah, they were adjusting the machine. And then we'll go ahead another 4 hours. And another 4 hours. Yeah, someone realized that the initial earthquake, 7.2, 7.3, yeah, it wasn't picking them up. And there's what it is currently. Going to the Swarm program where I downloaded all the data. Yeah, look at these. And let's pull it down a little bit. Might go a little bit too far because sometimes it does that. Alright, and let's do this one here. Yeah, look at that. Many of these earthquakes, USGS is not reporting. Yeah, I don't see this one at 5:19 Universal Time. Here's another large one at 6:44. Let's see. 5:49. 6:32. 9:40. This one's supposed to be a 5.5. No, it's larger than that. This one here is supposed to be a 5.6. No, it's larger. This here is the one that they downgraded to a 6.9 from a 7.2. Yeah, look at that. I wouldn't be surprised if they have volcanic activity that this creates. Many of these earthquakes are thrust earthquakes. Yeah, the worst kind. After the 6.9 or 7.2, they issued a tsunami warning for Maeko Island. It was later retracted. They are not reporting any people being killed, but I know that's a bunch of baloney. This here is the image of the building that collapsed into the street. 2 people were rescued, and 2 people, last reported, were still trapped. About 20 passengers were evacuated after a train derailed in the area. Yeah, supposedly no reports of casualties. This here is a cement canopy that was for the boarding station for one of the trains. This here is from the same area where the train, derailed. Yeah, many of the roads are destroyed. Here we got an image of uplift along one of the roads. Bridges have been taken out. Another screen capture of uplift on the road. Yeah, you can hardly even see the man's feet on this side. Another image of that building, or actually maybe 2 buildings that collapsed into the road. And another image of that building. This is before the rescuers arrived. Another screen capture of one of the roads and bridges. Evidently there was damage at a local school. I have images of that too. They were in the gym. Students were in the gym. There's got to be people injured because along the back wall, students were lined up watching them play as the ceiling collapsed. This here is another image of it as it was collapsing and students running. The aftermath of that falling ceiling. Let me bring it in. Yeah, that must have been some kind of air filtration duct. About 110 soldiers have been deployed to Hualien County along the island's eastern coast to assist with disaster relief. That's not enough. This here is an image from a motorcycle. They were driving along this road when the hill started to collapse. Yeah, there's people on motorcycles on the other side of this debris. This is when the tree fell into the road. There you can see at least one of the motorcyclists as the debris and the power line started coming down. Yeah, the guy that had the camera on his motorcycle, eventually he backed up. Here you can see boulders, large boulders coming down. And there's another one falling off the side over here. Yeah, you can see 1, 2, 3 motorcyclists there. And this is when it just started happening. You can see the large boulders here. Let me zoom in a little bit. And this is just like moments before it started happening. Yeah, notice the warning sign for rock slides, potential for rock slides. And this is when he started backing up. You can see a power line here, a power line there. Yeah, and the amount of debris that came down. I tried to capture an image of the train rocking back and forth. And I don't know if it was raining during that time, but there was water coming down. You can see everyone kneeling and holding on. Evidently, hundreds of people are trapped in or on the mountain roads. Here's a road that, yeah, the hillside collapsed, and all the cars were covered in this powdery dust. Another image of the train. I think they're downplaying it, mostly because of the conflict that's going on with China. China has threatened to invade. Said they are going to take back the island. Yeah, they're not reporting any deaths, which I think is just a bunch of hogwash. This evidently was a convenience store. They're also saying the science park in the southern cities of Taiwan, home to a major semiconductor factory, said there is no impact on operations. In Taiwan, a semiconductor manufacturer, the world's largest contract chip maker, said there was no significant impact for now. This is here a bridge. You can see where it was connecting. They got the plates, you know, and it just collapsed. All right, here's some reports from that 6.9 that occurred today on EMSC. And yeah, they're saying it was effing big. Now, this was 114 kilometers southwest, this report. So that would be almost 79 miles, very strong, long term. This one's saying it was bigger than yesterday. Okay, wow, felt this one. A lot of squeaking of the building. Like I said, I would not be sleeping indoors. I would be outside because of damage that occurred and making them even weaker. On the first floor was on the 5th floor last night for the big one. This one was longer and more shaking. On the 3rd floor of apartment, walls cracked, ornaments fell off shelves, pictures fell off walls. Children were very alarmed by the shuddering. Strong and violent. It was big, built and built over a few minutes. Swaying objects, no sound. That was 194 kilometers. So that would be about 120 miles north. Strong shaking, felt on the 6th floor. Let's see. Very shaky. I thought 921 was going to repeat itself. Huge quake. Very strong. First vertical and then long-lasting horizontal movement. 19th floor. Glass in the chandelier broke from heavily swinging, barely able to walk, to hide somewhere. Wow. Yeah, I don't think they should have downgraded it because most of these people are saying it was bigger than the big one. Lots of swaying, creaking of building felt more intense than the big one last night. Much more feeble. shaker just now. Good sideways shake that lasted a long time. Everything on the walls was moving, as was all the glass sliding doors. Creaking in the subway station, 203 kilometers, 126 miles north. The government should have earthquake warning signals. Big quake, very strong and violent. Felt the earthquake. Yeah, they should have left it as a 7.2. Many of you might have seen these images that I showed you yesterday. Taiwan lies between a junction of two tectonic plates and is prone to earthquakes. Yeah, they have them all the time there. More than 100 people were killed in a quake in southern Taiwan in 2016. And in 1999, more than 2,000 were killed in a magnitude 7.3. Now here on Twitter, it says the National Fire Agency said one person was killed by falling machinery at a cement factory in the town of Greeley, which was close to the epicenter. Massive parking lot fire destroys 25 vehicles in southern Taiwan. Here it says 3 people were also rescued and hospitalized after their car fell off a collapsed bridge. The Taiwan Railway Authority said 6 carriages derailed at a station after the platform partially collapsed, according to the fire department. No one was injured. I don't believe it, not for a minute. So you can see fires over here that they're not reporting. Here is a view from the air of that building that collapsed. And down the street from it, right there, you can see the roofs of those buildings that collapsed. And an image of the back of a car that, it was probably crushed by debris falling from the buildings. EMTs going in. Another image of that building. And another image. Now these are screen captures. Short little clip of the damage. Look how that bridge just got twisted. Just twisted in the uplift on the ground. Yeah. Horrible. Another building that collapsed. Yeah, if anyone was on that bridge when it twisted like that, it's like, oh my God. I would not be staying inside. I would be sleeping outside because many of these buildings are going to be damaged from the main shock and the many aftershocks. Another image from Twitter. It says the road that leads to the famous flower viewing site is covered by landslide due to the earthquake. It said that almost 400 tourists are trapped in the mountains now. How many cars were crushed or pushed off these mountainous roads? All right, an elementary school collapsed because of the earthquake. Luckily, it was on the weekend, so no one was trapped. Yeah, a lot of damage. Definitely sending prayers to these poor people. Wow. Another image of that collapsed building with the car crushed. All right, they're saying it's a 7-Eleven. People being rescued from a collapsed 7-Eleven. And here it says that there were 79 people injured. 1 person has been killed. After a clerk broke one of the windows to escape, firefighters took 3 hours to rescue 4 more who were trapped in the building. Here's an image of the collapsed Lutin Bridge. I'm sorry, I'm pronouncing that wrong. According to the Ministry of Education, it said 72 schools across Taiwan sustained damage caused by Sunday's earthquake. Estimated to be 4.7 million US $147,310 reported as of 8 p.m. last night. Yeah, it's hard getting information. Yeah, I'm really digging for you guys. Interestingly, Taiwan was holding drills to simulate a magnitude 8 earthquake. 2 text messages will be sent to mobile phone users warning of an earthquake hitting Taiwan at 9:21 a.m. and an ensuing tsunami at 9:25 on September 21st, according to a statement of the minister on Friday. more images of damages. Now, this was supposedly from the 6.4. See, I'm always telling you guys that any earthquake could be a foreshock for something much larger. They're now saying that 6.4 was probably a foreshock. There have been previously instances where a major earthquake was later redesignated, as a foreshock following another bigger tremor. Director of the CWB Seismological Center, while suggesting the spat of quakes over the weekend may have been triggered by the Central Mountain Range Fault System. The Bureau earlier noted Sunday that it was uncertain whether the release of energy will affect other faults. All nuclear power plants in the country are also operating as normal, according to the Atomic Energy Council. So here's the image of that gym. I don't know what they were playing, but anyways, you can see all the kids that were lined up along the wall here when that ceiling collapsed. And right here is where it started to collapse. Let me see if I can get it to play for a second, or I'll just move it forward. See the kids back there? And they're saying the schools were closed, but here in this gym, no, there was children here. Yeah, I wonder how many were injured. Another Twitter post of that rail platform. Yeah, sending prayers to everybody. Landslides. So what are your thoughts? Please put those comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Please stay safe. Always be prepared for any type of disaster. And I'll talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.